Hi everyone, welcome to Coach's Corner and Merry Christmas to everybody. A couple of weeks away from Christmas, we are in the third week of the high school basketball season, and that's where we'll concentrate today, our program on our basketball teams. And we start with our girls basketball program. Coach Winburn, our Lady Cats of Ponca City, coming off a real tough stretch of 4 games in 5 days, traveling down to a tournament down in Hera and getting ready to go on the road this week for 1 game. But the girls, through a couple of weeks this season, have a record of 2-4. They won 1 out of 3 games this past weekend at the Hera basketball tournament, and they're coming off a week in which they played ranked teams in Bishop McGuinness, Hera, and also Carl Albert from Midwest City. So, Coach, considering everything, looking at the quality of competition with a 2-4 record, it may not be, I know it's not what you wanted, but it may not be far off from what you thought we might be at this point in the season.
You know, early that's what we talked about, was the progression, and we knew early we were going to struggle and have some difficulty, but we're starting to see some light in the tunnel right now.
Last week was a tough week for your team. They started with a good Bishop McGuinness team that was ranked in the top 10 in 5A, lost that ball game, and then hit another couple of tough teams in Hera and in Carl Albert from Oklahoma City. But really, maybe not so much the Hera game, but on Friday against Carl Albert, a team that you and I both think could win the 5A state championship, at least for about 20 minutes of that 32-minute ball game. Your team played right with them and played the type of basketball that you hope to see this year.
Exactly right. Such a great progression from Thursday's game to Friday. You know, after you lose to Hera on Thursday, you're thinking, oh my, now we're going to go play Carl Albert on Friday, and you just don't know what they'll do. But boy, did we come out really hooked up, ready to play. I was extremely impressed with our offensive execution. Of course, our defense has been good throughout the season, but I saw some progression offensively.
Absolutely. The girls lost that game Friday, but I think it's probably pretty evident that they left with some confidence, because when they came out Saturday against Woodward, and again, Woodward's not nearly the team the others were, but they were good. Your team took it to them right from the opening tip and really played very good for a 32-minute game. 19
points the first quarter. We were concerned if we could score 19 points in a ball game early on. In fact, we were struggling to score 22, 23 points a game, but you can see the confidence beginning to build into us, and they're not as tentative. They're ready to be a little bit more aggressive in their offensive play, and they're starting to understand things. I know with a couple of our younger kids that don't have any playing experience, you're starting to see them adjust to the game and start to realize what they need to do when the ball's coming to them.
Well, this week the Lady Cats of Ponca City have 1 game. It's a road game against Tulsa Metro Christian. But, Coach, when you're in this part of the season where you play so many games, you don't have a lot of time to do the important part, which is coaching at this time of the season, working on mistakes. This is going to be a week in which, besides the 1 game, you can probably get some of that done.
We're looking forward to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday, where we can actually do some practicing and fix some things that are broken. Try to maybe implement some new things. You know, you always try to add to what you're doing and then get better at what you're doing. So we're hoping that Wednesday we can get back to a practice session.
That being said, Tuesday night against Metro Christian with a record of 2-4. It's a big game. You want to get that win and get your record a little closer to 500.
You're always wanting consistency, and that's the thing that I harp on. They get tired of hearing it, but I'm hoping that Tuesday we come out just like we did against Woodward and play just as well, and we'll see that consistent effort that we've seen in the last 2 ball games.
A couple of other questions. Inside, the rebounding has really been good for this team, and Madison Peresco had 2 great games, and then Kendall Dunn, who's been your most consistent player, but other players are helping out. And we may not score every time, but you're doing a great job both at offense and defensive ends of rebounding right now.
Carl Albert game, Maddie had 14 rebounds, and she's really starting to understand the importance of that. She's really going to the boards both offensively and defensively and starting to improve. And I looked at stats today, Phil, and Kendall, I think, is leading with 40 rebounds right now after this number of games. And then I think Maddie has 39, and Leslie Wilson's right there at 38 or 37. So we've got 3 kids that are really doing a good job in the rebounding area.
And that's certainly a part of the game that, you know, we don't talk about as much as we should, but in the Carl Albert game and in the Woodward game, we out-rebounded our opponents, and you give yourself a chance to win when you hold your own on the boards, don't you?
That's what we like to do, especially when we're on defense, is give the opposing team no more than one shot. They've got to shoot pretty good if they're going to beat us if we just allow them one shot. Obviously, if you give them 3 and 4 shots, they don't have to shoot the ball as well.
And speaking of that, early in the season, our percentage a little low. It's coming up. We're starting to make some of those shots. You have a couple of girls coming off the bench who have added a little bit of depth. And so, really, in general terms, and it's a coach's term, but things are coming around for your team, aren't they?
They really are, and that's, I'm kind of nervous about that because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. You're hoping that they will continue on. And with a young team, you never know. Sometimes they'll take a couple of steps back from where you were at 2 days ago. So I'm hoping that tomorrow night we'll play just as well or better than what we had.
The girls are fun to watch, and we hope that you'll come out. This week, no home games, but we'll be at home next week for another home game. And I'm showing off my Ponca City Wildcat shirt here, Coach, because these are on sale, and you can get them at the games. And the Tip-Off Club was nice enough to give Craig and Van Est and I one of these, so we wear them proudly. And all your monies, of course, go help the girls and boys in tournaments and as the season goes along to help pay for the expenses they have. And so we appreciate you when you do purchase something like this. And Coach, to you and the team, have a great week. We'll see you Tuesday night, and then get a little rest, okay?
I'm looking forward to it.
Dwight Winburn, our girls coach, on this week's edition of Coach's Corner.